So I'm going to revisit the video that I just shot without adjusting the exposure. It'll be this exposure, which should be, I don't know. I'm having a little trouble with exposure on the camera. And what I have here is a point that I pulled yesterday. This one's actually relatively straight. This is clear profile tubing. It's made by Simax. And honestly, I bought cases of this stuff years ago, and I'm still using it. This glass, this actual physical glass, is probably 20 plus years old at this point, which really doesn't matter too much. I mean, it's glass, but there was a couple changes in formulation over the last 20 years, so I have to be careful mixing this particular type of glass with new glass. It just doesn't, they don't play well together. That would be also why these clear striated, or these clear ornaments don't have a lot of colors in them. And we heated up the center here and just give it a little tug. These ornaments that I'm making right now are specifically designed to catch the light. These are optical ornaments. They're not necessarily colorful ornaments. So, when you have twinkling lights on your Christmas tree, twinkly lights on your Christmas tree, these will play off the light. They look really pretty when they're on the tree. So that's it. That's all I'm doing with this one. You just open the end here. I'm gonna put a loop in it. I'm using the glass itself. I just melt the tube down into itself, into a solid form. Give it a second to equalize, to cool down a little bit. Give it a little tug. Pull it back around. So it got hard on me. All right. Glass does get hard pretty quick, so you have to work fast, but you can't work too fast. It's kind of a delicate balance. Now this is a tungsten. This is a tungsten rod. Actually, it's a TIG rod. It's a TIG electrode. This one's like small. It's maybe a 16. I use these little skinny ones when I TIG thin material. So that's that. And then I have this big monster here, which is I think it's an 1/8. I can't even get them now. And I have another one. I have another size in between, but I don't really need it. All right, so I'm going to set this aside for a second, and I'm going to revisit this one here that I made about 5 minutes ago. It's cooled off. Checking the end here to make sure it's not going to snap off. I had some failures of my very first batch of ornaments last year that were definitely my fault. So if you got one that this end snapped off, bring it to a show, give me a call, let me know. I'll be more than happy to either fix it or replace it for you. And just be forewarned, I know, don't think you're going to get a free ornament out of me, because I know exactly what batch they were. And I pretty much remember every single ornament that I make. So don't you go try to rip me off. Alright, so that being said, if anybody's interested, I will be at a couple local events this year. I'm sorry I don't have the dates off right now right in front of me while I'm yammering. I will be at Pencrest High School band indoor indoor Christmas craft show. That is in November. I think it is the second weekend in November. I will be at Brookhaven Town Watch Christmas Bazaar in Brookhaven. I think those were Saturdays. I'm not sure. I forget. I will put a notation at the end of the video. And I will also be taking part in the Delaware County Chamber of Commerce Festival of Lights this year at Rose Tree Park. I will not be doing live demonstrations, that's why I'm shooting these videos. Yeah, and I'm not going to be doing, actually, as a matter of fact, my days of live demonstration, unless fistfuls of cash are thrown in my direction to make that happen, my days of live demonstration are over. Unless, like I said, unless I can get a massive influx of cash. Why does that look? Alright. Yeah, unless I can get a massive influx of cash and to buy a dedicated mobile rig, I won't be doing live demos anymore. Alright, so I pushed a Maria in the center here, and now I'm going to tighten that Maria. I'm going to make it bigger, I hope. So I tighten my flame up a lot, and I'm going to give this just a little tug, and I'm heating directly under the Maria. Almost a little too much here. You got to be careful, or else you end up pulling you end up actually melting the glass. You end up melting the profile out of the glass, and you don't really want to do that like I just did. It's okay. Each piece is a one of a kind, each piece is unique. So I'm going to replicate that on this side. I hope. Let's give it just a little tug. A little tug. I mean, when I say little tug, I mean it's an imperceptible amount of tug. Because I pulled a really nice point on this one, on both ends, I'm going to call that. I'm going to call that an ornament. And this is going to be the loop end, and we're going to knock that end off, make a hole there. I'm going to fatten my flame up a little. To make the flame a little fatter, what I do is I just crack the rear oxygen. It's actually too hard. I'm going to have to take a break for a second and readjust completely. If I was doing production glass right now, I wouldn't even bother fiddling with it, but these pieces are a little bit on the experimental side. I'm gonna see if it shows up. Okay, so you can kind of see it on camera. There's a oxygen valve right at the top of the torch. That's the center oxygen. There's a valve on the left side here. That's the, I call it the primary oxygen. I don't actually think it's the primary oxygen, but it's the one that works the best. And then there's the outer flame oxygens. The center flame oxygen on this GTT has a tendency to drive too hard for me. So what happens is, when I'm pulling these loops, they're so fine, they get real floppy. And difficult for me to control with that kind of heat into them. pull that back around into a loop. I'm going to tighten that up a little again. And I'm going to work out here with it. I know you can't hear it on camera, and you probably can't see it either, but it's definitely this needle flame is it's a little driving. So when I'm dealing with glass that's this fine at the end on these loops, it actually can blow it out of. It can blow it away. I got to be careful. All right, I'm gonna cut back my center, get a little bit more bushy flame here. Put this silly smoldering cigarette out. I think after 30 years of smoking, I can put out a cigarette. Okay, so there we go. Now I'm gonna just spin this for a second, make sure the vast majority of the heat's out of it. It shouldn't be in any way, shape, or form floppy at this point, but you never know. Just a little bit. I'm all the way out here, just because I just need a little heat in there, just kind of flame anneal it. I'm gonna pick a spot here on this one, so it just kind of drips off. Pull it. Nice. And my goal here with these, and I doubt it's going to show up on camera, but is to not have this bottom piece suck in. That's why I've been doing these this way. I'm letting the whole piece cool and then pulling this very quickly so it doesn't suck in on itself. When the glass, because when this is hot, as it cools, it wants to suck in. So when it's cool, the whole ornament's cool, it doesn't suck in. There you go.